We're getting close.
Oh, yeah. Good.
I'm showing a few minutes after 9:30 now, so we can go ahead and get started. I see a good turnout today, so welcome everyone. Happy New Year. Glad everyone could make it here to the Zoom screen again. I know we talked about January being in person, but I think we all know what's going on with COVID now. It just kind of keeps fluctuating, so we're just going to keep staying here on the computer screen for the foreseeable future. Glad everyone is here virtually. So
I almost wore my mask to this meeting.
Oh, baby.
I don't think we can spread it this way, but you never know.
It's pretty contagious.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, let's go ahead, jump right into the agenda. First up, let's see, I do have a quick addition to the agenda. It slipped my mind to add Tony Velasquez here. I think I see you here, Tony, so we'll add you on to the agenda. We'll put you in, how about right after Yuba Water Agency? How does that sound? We'll have perfect. Awesome. Anything else? Anyone else have other additions, adjustments to the agenda? Speak now. Awesome. All right. Well, let's move on.
I had a quick one. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to get on and have to leave real quick. We've got a Cal OES, California State Training Institutes down here. So we're doing our certification classes right now, and I'm 5 minutes over our 10-minute break. So I'll be ducking out, but real quick, everybody knows, I'm sure that Governor Newsom declared an emergency on the 30th, and then we had a local declaration. Most of the issues are up in Camptonville. Water agency and PG&E supplied generators. We got 30 cords of wood delivered up to Camptonville. And then that led to some discussions about areas that needed some timber stand improvement and some devegetation up in that area too. So if anybody knows or has any contacts up in Camptonville, local or Forest Service that we don't usually get in contact with, I've got my email there in the chat. If you wouldn't mind just sending me a quick, hey John, maybe get a hold of these people next time something like that happens, because obviously if we're having issues getting to people and getting people out during a snowstorm, we'll probably have the same issues during a wildfire. So
I just noticed yesterday that you got the back window. Yeah, I just noticed that yesterday. I was like, man.
There we go.
Godspeed to you, John.
yeah, thanks. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but yeah. And then we're going to go through our ARs, lesson learned. So if you think of anybody that might be interested in that, I'll just shoot me a quick little email, and then I'll go after we get done today with the classes. I'll check back in and see if there is any updates or anything of immediate concern. And have a great rest of your day.
Great. Thanks, John. Yeah, I think we do. If they're not here today, we do have contacts up from that area, so we can definitely start trying to figure something out up there. So thanks for bringing that up. Anyone else on public comment? I guess we've kind of moved right into that. Any general announcements, especially if you're not on the agenda? All right, hearing none. I always try to get enough time without it being too awkward. Enough pause. Okay, great. Hearing no public comments, let's move on to next up. We have a short special presentation from Ian Scott from Yuba County's Planning Department, and I'll let you introduce yourself beyond that, but yeah, he's here to give us just a quick little update on broadband in the Yuba foothills. So yeah, we can see your screen, Ian, so go ahead and take it away.
Great. Thank you so much for the introduction, Allison.
Mhm.
And thank you so much to the Fire Safe Council here. I'm very excited to speak to you today. My name is Ian Scott. I'm the project manager of broadband for Yuba County. So I thought we would start by discussing some broadband key terms. These tend to get thrown around quite a bit in broadband discussions. So the first of these is middle mile. So middle mile is broadband fiber optic lines originating from internet service providers networks. Download speed is the first number in an x/x speed per second, such as, for example, 25.3 megabytes per second. In this case, download speed, generally the one more important for use for internet at your home. In this case, will be 25. Upload speed is the second number in the x/x speed per second. In the example above, in 25.3, it would be the 3 megabytes per second. The new federal broadband standard is actually 25.3 megabytes per second. I know for those of you up in the foothill region, 25.3 megabytes per second seems quite high relative to current speeds that are up there. This is the new standard that the feds have increased, which is important when we start talking about federal and state grant dollars and what type of broadband projects will be eligible and at what speeds. ISP is a commonly thrown around acronym for internet service providers. So what does this speed mean? As we look at this chart here, basic service can be defined as somewhere between 3 and 8 megabytes per second, whereas medium service is between 12 and 3 megabytes per second, and advanced service being more than 25 megabytes per second. And just as a quick housekeeping item, I know that this presentation is being recorded. In addition to that, I am very happy to share these PowerPoint slides for public dissemination as well, as there's some information in here that I think residents up in the foothills would stand to benefit from. So some common broadband issues. Broadband is expensive. Depending on the deployment type, middle mile broadband can cost per mile, and unfortunately inflation has reared its ugly head, so these numbers are even higher now. But aerial fiber is the type of middle mile lines that are run over power lines, and that costs anywhere from 21,000 to 66,000 per mile. Whereas underground fiber deployment, digging trenches and protecting the cables underground from wildfires, for example, costs anywhere from 98,000 to 392,000 per mile. You start getting into these higher six-figure estimates per mile when we're talking about areas such as up in the foothills, where unfortunately our soils are more comprised of hard rock as opposed to more valley floor agriculture soil. Broadband deployment is also currently unclear. Data from the California Public Utility Commission, otherwise known as the CPUC, is reported by ISPs. Unfortunately, this data is less reliable than if it is collected by subscriber households. And I will provide information later on in this PowerPoint to show you how you as a broadband subscriber in a household can actually help us to validate this data. And this data is needed because ISPs are actually not required to share the locations of their middle mile infrastructure, which unfortunately makes it somewhat more challenging to plan new broadband projects, although we are managing as is. So we have made broadband progress. One of the major categories is in the area of partnerships. The Rural County Representatives of California is an association that our local Board of Supervisors are a part of. This group, we have made several partnerships with them. We have a memorandum of understanding with the RCRC affiliate Golden State Finance Authority. They are actually assisting us with getting conceptual network designs to understand what the minimum viable investment needed for infrastructure is to get certain areas that are less connected better connected. We also have reached a joint power authority with the Golden State Connect Authority for broadband demonstration projects. In addition to these, we have applied for an emergency connectivity fund for laptops and hotspots to the Yuba County Library. And what this is going to do is it's going to bring 20 hotspots and 20 laptops to the library for school-age children to be able to check out. That way they can do their homework and their studying from home in the event that they may not have the best broadband currently at their house. In addition to these items, we're also monitoring a middle mile rulemaking in which Caltrans is actually planning a brand new middle mile fiber network along Highway 70, 20, and 65. Once this infrastructure is put in place, it's going to make it easier to expand broadband access. In my conversations with local broadband providers, one of the main things that they've told me is that the current middle mile infrastructure in the county is much like as we try to enter the county going into the city of Marysville, for example. There's significant congestion on the current broadband networks, such as we experience in traffic here as well. In addition to these, we also completed a broadband master plan in cooperation with the firm Valley Vision, which was approved by the Yuba County Board of Supervisors on October 26th. As part of this, the Board of Supervisors approved a residential goal of 25.3 megabytes per second and a business goal of 120 megabytes per second. So from the broadband master plan, we've learned the following information. We've learned that at least 32.1% of households are currently unserved at even 6.1 megabytes per second, which compared to the federal standard of 25.3 megabytes per second, this is definitely an issue. 34.5% of households are unserved at 10.1 megabytes per second, and 47.9% of households are currently unserved at the federal broadband standard of 25.3 megabytes per second. And as previously stated, the California Public Utility data is reported by the ISPs, so these estimates may actually be even higher than is currently reported by the ISPs. Validating this broadband availability will require household outreach and the use of tools such as CalSpeed, which I will be providing a link to later here in the presentation. And I would ask all of you to consider using the CalSpeed app, as it will help the county be able to get broadband projects off the ground in your community. From our broadband master plan, we're able to see that unfortunately only 20 to 40% of households north of Highway 20 currently have a reliable 6.1 megabytes per second connection. So what's on the horizon for our current broadband project? Right now, we are looking into drafting a request for broadband partnerships, in which we will be asking ISPs to submit shovel-ready projects for us with priority consideration given for the communities of Brownsville, Dobbins, Smartsville, and Camptonville vicinities, as we've received direction from the Board of Supervisors that these areas are in the highest need. We're also looking at creating a broadband resources website, a broadband strategic plan, which will help us to get those conceptual network designs addressed. And we're also monitoring the current landscape of state and federal grants, awaiting those opportunities for the expansion of broadband networks. The state and federal grants, once they become available, Yuba County intends to produce this request for broadband partnerships and work in partnership with ISPs using these state and federal dollars for those priority projects in the areas that I have mentioned. The county is requesting the assistance of our residents in this process. One of the most important things people can do is to actually use the CalSpeed app. And what this is it's an application released by the California Public Utility Commission that actually you just click a few buttons, and what it does is it actually tests the speed that you're currently getting on your desktop or laptop. And it allows us to be able to dispute the speeds that are currently being reported by ISPs in your area. The more of this data that the county receives, the better we are able to target areas that ISPs may currently be saying are served, but it is known to the people that actually live in those areas that they may not actually be served. So if anybody has any questions on the broadband project, I'm very happy to discuss. I have my email and my phone information here. I'm currently serving as the point of contact for all inquiries, permits, and projects on broadband here at the county. I also invite everybody to take a look at this resource here. It's called the Affordable Connectivity Program. It's similar to the Lifeline program and others such as that. It offers a $30 a month discount on broadband service through the federal government, in addition to a one-time discount of up to $100 for a laptop, tablet, or desktop computer. The link is included below here on how someone can apply for that. And then in spirit with John Stone being with us earlier, I thought I would also include the Yuba County website for emergency evacuation information. On this, I'm very happy if anybody has any questions now. I would love to be able to answer any questions that you may have, and I thank you all very much for your time.
Thanks so much, Ian. Yeah, that's,
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
I do actually have a question here in the chat. It is fixed wireless service, such as AT&T's service from its cell sites, being considered as a solution? This is actually a great question. So the reason why we're asking for CalSpeed data from people's laptops and desktops specifically, as opposed to from people's cell phones, is there's actually a pretty big difference in the technology used for the internet that goes into a cell phone currently versus the internet that goes into a desktop or laptop. But fixed wireless is actually a solution, just not the what's currently being considered 4G or 5G. Those cell towers are designed only for internet service to cell phones. But this being said, there are local providers that provide broadband service currently within Yuba County that actually use similar technology for fixed wireless service. They actually project internet from towers to receiving stations at people's houses, and that technology is not only being considered as a solution now, but that is the technology that the county is thinking may be a good stopgap solution for some of those broadband demonstration projects in the foothills in areas where the deployment of wired fiber, either along power lines or in the ground, as an alternative solution. Let me see, there's another one here. The service does not access a cell phone, utilizes standalone equipment. Oh, okay, yes. For the person, they actually just responded here saying that this is similar and it'll be provided by AT&T. I'm actually assuming if that is the case to the person who messaged me here, then AT&T is very likely using similar technology to companies such as Succeed and Digital Path in the area that are actually providing that same service. I think that answers the current question that I had in the direct messages on the chat. I'd be very happy to answer any other questions that anybody has.
This is Curtis.
Hi, Curtis.
We've got Calpine here at the house in Loma Rica, and we get a 10.2 upload download on that with the possibility of a 20 download and a 4 upload. Starlink is becoming really big with a 94 and 4 upload download. Is there any consideration of hooking in with that Starlink program?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. For those of you who are interested in trying to test out the Starlink network, I would invite you to do so. My concern with Starlink as it presently stands right now, their speeds are great when they do work. Unfortunately, with satellite technology, sometimes there are issues having to do with things such as weather, or for example, tree line obstruction, things like that, which have effects on the consistency of that speed. So in addition to the download and upload speed, another thing to be considered is latency. Latency is defined as how long it actually takes for information to get from the satellite to the home and vice versa. And I would be very interested to know what the current information is on the Starlink network when it has to do with latency, because from what I've seen historically, of course, I can't speak personally to Starlink. I've heard good stories from other people so far, but I'm not sure personally about the latency. That being said, I would invite people to, if they are so interested, to pursue looking into Starlink and letting us know how they like it.
Great, thank you.
My pleasure.
Any other questions for Ian?
Yeah, hi, Ian, this is Keith Chambers. I'm with the Chai Company.
Hi, Keith. I didn't want to out you in the direct message.
Oh yeah, hey, not a problem. You know, I've been a legacy body at Chai for over 40 years. My good friend Steve Andrews, I saw him on this call this morning as well. And Steve, if you're there, you can hear me. Hi there, my good friend. And hey, I just wanted to chime in. You know, we for many years operated Oregon Peak. In fact, we still own the property around Oregon Peak. Okay, we support the Oregon Peak volunteer lookouts, have for many years. And you know, I just wanted to get on your radar screen this fixed wireless service that AT&T provides now. You know, they were required to do that as part of their, you know, acquisition of DirecTV. So, and I think Randy Fletcher is aware of, you know, some of the sites that actually our company helped Soper Wheeler develop some sites on their property. There's a cell tower that looks down on Brownsville, and there's one in the Forbes-town area, and there's another tower up at LaPorte. These are all in addition to the Oregon Peak site. And the 3 sites on Soper were specifically designed for fixed wireless.
Oh, great.
And so they were actually developed with I think federal money that was earmarked for fixed wireless service. And it's actually a pretty cool service. I have it here at the house in Grass Valley. And it basically, the service, just so everybody knows, it's an awesome service. We used to have DSL here at the house, and we barely got by on about a 3 meg download and a 1 meg upload. And then when we tapped into the fixed wireless service of AT&T, and I know Digital Path are good friends of ours, so I want to put a plug in for them as well. And but as soon as we hooked into the AT&T fixed wireless service, and it runs from a cell site about 1.5 miles from the house, and it runs over their LTE network. Very secure, very high speed. We get about 42 down and about 13 up. And the cost is comparable to what Digital Path charges and to what fixed, I think what we have also a local fiber provider here in Grass Valley, Race Communications. And I hear they charge anywhere from, I think, $60 to $120 a month. Okay. And I think right now, presently, we're paying $70 a month for the AT&T service. And it's awesome. There is a cap on the bandwidth that you get, but we've never exceeded it, and probably in part because the kids are all grown up and moved out of the house, and we're not watching movies anymore. So really, we just transmit mostly email and work related stuff, and maybe an occasional movie on Friday pizza date night. So. But anyway, it's a great service, very reliable. And I know, just so everybody knows, and just so you can kind of put that on your radar screen for the county, I follow, being in the tower business, I follow the kind of the activities of the cell carriers. And there's a huge push right now for all the cell carriers to deploy fixed wireless because you've got the infrastructure in place, the cell towers. And this is just a matter of putting in additional equipment. It does not access your cell phone, so you have to put in a separate transmit receive antenna at your house. Run the signal across Cat5, Cat6, and plug it into their modem router, and you are live. And I mean live, big time. So anyway, it probably can't get into some of the nooks and crannies, of typical of rural areas. But I think it's a great solution now. I think the cell carriers are moving in that direction. So we're going to see Verizon offering that soon. And, the cost to string fiber either above ground or below ground is absolutely prohibitive.
Right.
So, so getting on board with a fixed wireless solution is I think that's the future. So anyway, just want to give you some firsthand knowledge. We've had a lot of experience dealing with the carriers. Deploying these systems is going to become a bigger thing over time, and it's the system is absolutely great. When we had this big snowstorm here recently in Grass Valley, and the fiber lines and the phone lines went down because of the tree damage. Heck, we had internet nonstop because the cell carriers came in, they fired up their generators, and it ran over their LTE network. A lot of these remote cell sites do backhaul on microwave and not on landline or fiber. So keeping the cell sites up, as long as they got fuel for their generator and the generator doesn't go down, you got internet. So it's a really awesome opportunity to tier off of. So anyway, that's the long detailed version, but I think there's tremendous opportunity in rural Yuba County to extend the service. True high speed internet to a lot of people, not necessarily everybody, but to a lot of people. So my thoughts.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for that. I actually was not aware of the development of cell phone carriers entering the fixed wireless industry. With that currently has companies such as Succeed and Digital Path, and that's a great development that I'm interested in following up on. So I want to thank you so much for your thoughtful comments on that issue.
Yeah, and Ian, my pleasure. And if you want to follow up with me, Allison can provide you with my contact info.
Great. I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, great conversation. Thanks, everyone. Any final questions for Ian before we move on to the rest of our agenda? This is, I know you might be asking, I mean, what does broadband and internet have to do with wildfires? But we do know, right? Communication is always a big issue, both in our work, kind of in prevention work, getting the word out about preparedness beforehand, and then also during emergency situations. So yeah, really want to thank you, Ian, for being here. And did I hear someone else?
Well, Allison, you mind if I chime in one more time here? If people can be can tolerate me. Okay, so anyway, you bring up a great point about being able to get the word out in the event of a catastrophe. Yeah. As we evidenced by the wildfires last year, we had a fire very close to our home, the river fire, and the way we were able to monitor activity was through the and I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the alert wildfire cameras that have been deployed, throughout the state. There are cameras at Oregon Peak, and those are intended to be fire monitoring as well as initial attack or fire start monitoring. And the only way we were able to actually monitor the fire activity or the fire movement coming towards our home from the Bear River Canyon was through watching the activity on alert wildfire cameras, which came through internet feed, which we had because we still had power. The cell site was up. We could actually monitor the actual real-time activity of that fire. So as well as the alerts. But anyway, getting high-speed internet to people is like really top priority. All right. So enough said. Thank you for your patience.
Totally. Thank you for all your insight.
And Allison, just as a housekeeping note, I will be sending you a PDF of the slides that I sent. And it is my hope that we can get some more data points added to the CalSpeed data app. That way we can tell the state that we really do need better connectivity up in the foothills.
Great, thanks, Ian. Yeah, we'd be happy to share it out to our email list. I think.
I would say also specifically for anyone that is testing a Starlink network, I would greatly appreciate it personally if they were to download the CalSpeed app, because I'm very interested to see what the data shows up as.
Goodness.
Sounds good. We can make a special note when we send that out. Great. Okay. Well, thanks again, Ian. And yeah, we'll share your slides and people can feel free to. Can we share your contact info? People can reach out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to thank you all so much for your time today. Fire and broadband are very important issues to be linked together. Emergency response is one of the most important components to a broadband strategy.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks again. Yeah, let's move on in our agenda. There are no other questions on the broadband. So, all right, we have a good long list of partner reports. See a lot of folks here, but not everyone. So let's just work down the list. Do we have anyone from the Plumas here? Jason or Eric? Yes, I see Eric on there.
Yes, yeah, here I am. Hello. It's good to see you all again. It's been a while. So I can report on some of the operational stuff that we've been up to. Not as familiar with some of the planning stuff. That's the Jason Vermillion world a lot more. But so obviously we got a significant amount of precipitation in the month of December. So we're currently out of our burn window for a lot of the areas that we have slated to burn. However, as we've been in this drying trend now for at least a few days, and it looks like it's going to continue. And then next week, we're planning on doing some pile burning right on the Forest Service land that is adjacent to the Yuba Feather School. So I'm putting up some smoke over there. That's part of some fuel treatment units that are kind of basically as Moretown Rancheria folks are doing those as they're creating piles. We're just going in behind them and burning them when we have the opportunity. So that'll just continue on in a variety of areas around, or a variety of parcels of land around the challenge area, which is kind of the main focus for us in that area. And then we're also planning on doing some more burning. This would be underburning on old slapjack units, which would also be that kind of Forbes-town challenge and up to Woodleaf and that sort of zone. That's all Forest Service there. And then maybe looking at some of the stuff down Oregon Hill Road that at this point we burned probably some of it 5 years ago or more. You know, that's coming back just like that stuff always does. So looking at those units again to potentially get back into, whether it's, you know, this next spring or we'll see, but that's in the planning process right now. Otherwise, I don't know how much in previous meetings, obviously it's been a minute for me, but I don't know how much was talked about, like what's been going on with the Forest Service and federal fire management in general with what was passed in the infrastructure bill and other things I think that I'm not aware of, where it seems like the Washington office level, the national level, and then the regional level, us in California, they seem to be more willing, or at least they found more money. I'm not sure, but I keep hearing about us having a lot more money coming down. What exactly that's going to look like is unclear, but I would say that it seems like our capacity and our organization, our infrastructure is going to increase. How exactly is still up in the air, still in the planning processes and a lot of discussions about what we want the organization to look like. But there's a lot of talk about how if we tell the region, tell the Washington office what we think the ideal organization would be that could actually manage fuels and then suppress wildfires, that we potentially could have the support and the money to do that. The issue has always been with us, or at least in the last, 2 decades, has been with us that we are not competitive with organizations like, CAL FIRE and counties and stuff like that. They typically pay more. And so part of the infrastructure bill that was passed was a new job series that creates a wildland firefighter job series within the federal government, which is new. That's never existed before. And I believe linked directly with that is a really significant pay raise for federal wildland firefighters. Like I'm talking, let's see, it would be about maybe 30%, like a really significant pay raise. They, as far as I understand, they have about 5 or 6 months at this point to implement that, to kind of move through that process and lay out how exactly that's going to happen, who is even going to be, considered wildland firefighter, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things still up in the air, but it is actually written into law and signed by the president. So it is going to happen. It's just a question of how exactly that's going to happen. But I guess my point is that I think between us, the Tahoe, everybody, I think there's a good probability that you'll see a bigger organization and an organization that doesn't have these problems with all of these holes that we've been unable to fill in the last few years. We've had really significant staffing shortages because we just aren't able to fill positions. And I believe that this will hopefully go a long way towards kind of correcting that problem. Yeah, that's really all I have But I just wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to talk about that because that's been a huge item that we've been talking about, around the office on the Plumas now for months. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Eric. That's great to hear. I know I personally have hear a little bit here and there on the infrastructure bill, but not, still don't know the details. So certainly keep us updated as you learn more about what that'll look like for you guys. But great. Any questions for Eric?
Yeah, I've got a question, Allison. Eric, good seeing you again.
Yeah, you too.
Hey, been out of touch a little bit. Can you tell me what is the Plumas? What's your activity level been on the Healthy Forest grant? Have you guys been working on those units?
Yeah, so I believe those units are, let's see, my understanding is that those units are a lot of what we've been working on with that we've had contracted out to the Moortown folks that they're working on with a variety of, there's handcuff collars, mastication, and other things. I have not been as engaged with that directly. So that's a Jason Vermillion question for sure. He's a lot more engaged directly with that because he's, at this point he's located right there in Challenge. That's his office now. So I can talk to him and ask him that directly and get you a better answer.
Oh, okay, thanks. It sounded like it when you were talking about units in the Challenge area. I know that's where your units were concentrated. So
yeah, just kind of ongoing, as weather dictates. But they've been chunking away at it. But there's a lot.
Yeah, excellent.
Great. All right. Thanks, Eric. Moving on. Is anyone from the Tahoe National Forest here? I don't see anyone unless you're on the phone there. Go ahead and speak up. All right. I don't think so. And Cal Fire, I don't see you here either. But chime in.
They're all in their operations meeting today. None of them are available. They're having a regular in-house meeting.
Gotcha. Thanks, John. Let's see. I know California Department of Fish and Wildlife. John sent me an email earlier, said he couldn't make it, but he had, let me pull it up. He had one quick report. Or he said, let's see, he might be on the phone, but in listen only mode. Anyway, his quick report was that they have started the fuel reduction project along Marysville Road near Collins Lake on their Daughtry Hill piece, the Daughtry Hill Wildlife Area. So that's great to hear. If you were here last time, they put up a little map and showed us kind of what was going on with that project. So they have started work and yeah, fantastic. All right. Okay, I added on here California Department of Insurance because Ronnie, you're often able to be here. Do you have any updates for us from on the insurance front?
Oh, we're working away. Allison finally got permission to put the pre-notice public discussion up, which is 2.5 hours of comment, and it's a big project that we're working on, a very high priority project. The text of regulation that people commented on in that workshop is under revision and should be available soon. But we're looking forward to seeing more benefits being offered and for homeowners to, for the first time, to see their wildfire scores. So they know how they're being rated and why their homes are being surcharged or discounted. and why the discounts may not match up to what their mitigation efforts are. So it will hopefully incentivize people to better mitigate. And so yeah, stay tuned. In the next 6 months, we should have some pretty good activity around this project and getting these regulations finalized. And yeah, so I'm currently trying to find out how the department works with partner requests. So I report directly to the Office of Special Counsel. So my immediate boss and is a middle manager, but I have we report to the deputy commissioner, who is also the commissioner's special counsel. So I am going through the process, and it may be more appropriate that Lisa be your point of contact as the official partner or liaison contact.
Sure.
So for right now, I'm still just a citizen. My husband has a place up there, and he's elderly and has these cell phone issues that we were hearing about, and lives on a hill close to the Dobbins volunteer firehouse. So yeah, we were. I'm here mainly because I'm concerned about him, and I spend weekends there. I've been spending weekends there for 30 years. So yeah. Anyway, I hope we have some good news to share soon, and some real regulations that encourage mitigation and homeowner activity around this around wildfire and brush clearing and vegetation management and defensible space.
Great, thanks, Ronnie. Yeah, that is encouraging, and thanks for making the connection again. I'll make sure to reach out to Lisa in time for next meeting. But glad you could.
I had asked her. I asked her, whether we have ever partnered with a fire safe council before, and I understand that. I know we've helped fire safe councils with grant assistance. So if nothing else, we can maybe, be a resource for your grant applications.
That's fantastic. Yes, we'll take that kind of resource. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Always looking for grants. So, okay, great. Thanks, Ronnie.
Sure, that's it.
Anyone have any questions on the insurance front for Ronnie? And those links you talked about to the recording, and I think the text of what the recording was about. I think we sent that out in the minutes from last meeting that I just sent out, but we can include those again in this month's minutes, just to make sure that info gets out there. So yeah.
One of the last persons to testify was an agent from Northern California, I think from Nevada County. And she was really good at summing up the problems that both Yuba and Nevada County face in terms of getting insurers to be responsive to mitigation efforts, and was very articulate about that. So if you can manage to get through the end or just skip to the end, she's worth hearing. Good advocate for you all.
Yeah, totally. That's good to know. I'll check that out. Check that part out first.
Okay.
Very cool. All right. Next up on the agenda, I don't see Randy here. Supervisor Fletcher, don't see him here unless I missed him. And then, sorry, I was just giving him a moment in case. All right. And then we heard from John Stone, who had to step off. Let's see, anyone else actually from the county? I'm not seeing folks on here, either Mike Lee or Public Works or the Sheriff's Office. I think we can skip past that. All right. County must be busy today. Moving on to Yuba Water Agency. I heard Joanna can't make it today. Creighton I did see on here. Maybe he had to hop off though. All right, looks like Creighton left also. So then we can move on to Tony Velasquez from Beal, if you want to hop on in. Got you on the agenda finally.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning. Nice to be invited to the Fire Safe Council meetings here with you guys. I'll give you a little history with Beal. So, and the Air Force. The Air Force started the Wildland Fire Branch about 9 years ago. With that, there's 14 different across the country. I happen to be the last one that was built up at Beal. So I'm in charge of Beal and Travis Air Force Base and also Edwards Air Force Base. The main objectives that we have set up is that we're in charge of both fuels mitigation and prescribed fires on all the military installations, and we assist all the other DoD installations, as most of us hold at least RXB2 or RXB1 as myself. So we essentially just travel around the country, do fuel mitigation projects, and my biggest thing is Beal, just because of the history of Beal with fires going either off base, onto base, or on base, off to base. So, my main hub is at Beal. With that, we've been set up for 3 years now. Last year was our first truly active year with 12 prescribed fires for over 3,200 acres, which is a pretty good hit for Northern California. We were actually able to hold the largest prescribed fire in Northern California for 2,200 acres last year, which is, a very considerable amount for a prescribed fire in Northern California. With that, we did 7 acres of mastication treatment around our housing. So we're starting to kind of build up a pretty good fire mitigation program on the installation. And with that, we're able to bring in some of our mutual aid cooperators like Smartsville Fire, Marysville Fire, Cal Fire into the base and help us out with our prescribed fires, which helps kind of build the cohesion between all the local departments and give live fire training. For this year in 2022, we're looking at doing 10 prescribed fires for 5,100 acres on the installation. 300 of those acres are going to be for essentially a live fire school that's going to include all the mutual aid partners, Linda Fire, Smartsville Fire, Cal Fire, Marysville Fire, all the Valley type fire departments for now, for this upcoming year, which I think will be great. One thing, building cohesion between everybody.
Did we just lose Tony mid-sentence? Whoops. Okay. Hopefully Tony can call back in a second. While he does that, maybe let's move on. Oh, we really wanted to hear from him. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let him connect back on.
Right. I'm back. I lost the internet on my laptop. Sorry about that.
Gotcha, yeah. We had a moment of like, wait, what happened?
I don't know what happened to the internet here on base, but we just lost that. Yeah, so we're here, now that we've been built up for the past few years pretty strongly. You'll be seeing more of me. I'm going to try to make every one of these meetings, kind of give you an update of what we're doing. A big project I'm starting in this spring, is we're looking at trying to make the Beal community, our housing area, which has 310 homes on it, as a Firewise community. So we're kind of trying to put in the plug, trying to start that. If we do that, we'll be the only other Air Force installation that has a Firewise community or a designated Firewise community. So yeah, that's what I got. Any questions, feel free to ask.
Any questions for Tony? That's great to hear about the Firewise community. We are certainly involved in trying to get Firewise communities started up all over Yuba Foothills. So I'm sure you guys are totally capable, but if you need any assistance from Fire Safe Council, let me know, and we're happy to help out as well.
Thank you.
And I think vice versa also, Tony, we've got a couple communities here in the foothills trying to start Firewise communities. Anything you guys learn would be greatly appreciated.
Will do. Yeah, it's new for me trying this. I came from a long line with the Forest Service, which we never really dealt with that. And now that I'm here, with the Air Force, it's just we're trying to see what we can do, and I'd be more than happy to give any information I get while I'm going through the process to all the local communities. And then also, helping out local communities too. I've been helping out in Marysville, do a lot of mastication, helping out with removal of some of the transient camps that have been notoriously causing fires. So we have a couple of mastication units, bobcats, things like that. We're getting a dozer here soon. So we're building up our workforce. And once I kind of get everything built up, I'm going to kind of put the offer out to local communities to, help out, give, a certain amount of hours, or 20 hours of our time, doing mastication or something like that. But once we get our stuff set up, then we'll venture out to everybody else to help them out as well.
Tony, this is Kathleen LeBlanc out in Camptonville. One of the folks you might want to get in touch with, if you haven't already, is Pat Leach in Nevada County. She's been doing this for a few years now. She's volunteer.
Okay.
But she has a really good pulse on what it takes to do Firewise communities. So you
Okay,
can
now
tell her that Kathy sent you.
Okay, Pat Leach.
Yeah, I will put her contact info. I'll send it to Allison, and maybe Allison, you could forward it to Tony.
Totally. Yeah.
All right.
I have Pat's.
Okay.
I've been in contact.
Great.
So yeah, she's
Thank you.
a source. Totally.
Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tony. I'm glad to have you here. Regularly, really glad we made that connection finally.
Yeah, thank you.
Totally. Any other questions, thoughts, comments for Tony?
Well, the only thing, this is Gary Files. The only thing I have, we also have the wildland fire and mitigation advisors that can help be allowed on doing any type of mitigation reviews on the homes out there.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the Firewise community buildup. You have to have a mitigation review after the fact. So yeah, that'll be part of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
We have a program set.
Go ahead. Uh-oh, it looks like you're muted, Gary. There you go.
The Fire Safety Council has a program set up. We have advisors available to come out and conduct mitigation reviews. They just have to apply online on our site.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I think we're learning with what we're seeing, at least with the Firewise process, is there are those like Gary's talking about, these like individual home reviews, and then there's also, I think the way I understand it is those aren't necessarily required to become a Firewise community, but what is required is that the community-wide assessment, that kind of more general.
Yeah.
So these what Gary's talking about could help feed into that, but they are two separate things also. So, but yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, everyone. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Tony. All right, Gary, I think you are up next. Talk about the RCD, and there's anything else to report on the Oregon Peak Lookout as well. Let you take it all away.
Well, there's really nothing on Oregon Peak Lookout at this time of the year. We will be having a little celebration get together in February to honor all the lookouts. The RCD, there's nothing new to report. We're in the process of doing a needs assessment. We have a consultant that's in the process of doing that and talking to the board members and also various members of the community. Some of you on here will be contacted if you haven't already for that. For the mitigation review, it's been quite, because of the weather, pretty quiet. I have two that have been scheduled for over a month, but because of the weather up in the Pindola area, we haven't been able to get up there. Hopefully I can do those two this weekend on the Pindola Ranch. That's it from the RCD, the mitigation review at Oregon Peak. Any questions?
Hey, Gary, this is Curtis. I saw on the cameras that we took some pretty good snow up there at Oregon Peak. Has anybody been up yet to see any kind of damage done?
No, not that I know of.
Thanks.
Any other questions for Gary? Great. Well, thanks, Gary, for everything that you do. Put your hands in a lot of how does the term go? A lot of different buckets. All right, up next is Camptonville Community Partnership. Kathy, I think I saw you there. If you're able to jump on. Kathy might be busy right now. Okay, we can come back to her then.
Hey, I'm gonna have to interrupt. My phone is down to 1% power and I forgot to bring a charger. So I'm gonna probably cut out pretty soon, but yeah.
Thanks, Stephen. Did you
I'm
have
gonna stay on as long as I can.
Okay, great. Did you have any?
Allison? Oh, I'm sorry, I am back. I was
Okay,
on
great.
another screen and couldn't find this one. Thank you so much.
Perfect.
CCP, I think the biggest thing we want to talk about right now is, we were hit hard with that last storm. There's still a lot of folks in the north area without power, not only without power, but without landlines and internet. So it's still an effort going on. We got a good response from the county and a relief effort. They brought in about 10 cords of wood. I think it was a sheriff's office that brought 6 generators down. There was a lot of food and other supplies brought in. We actually shared some of it because the quantities were immense. So I got a hold of Lisa at the Foothill Food Pantry and Curtis. And so some of those supplies were shared, which was really great. We're looking at talking to the county about having a greater infrastructure at this end of the foothills so that when things like this happen, we have it ready to go. We're going to see if we can hang on to those 6 generators and have them when they're needed, because it was a great response, but the need was started Monday and we didn't get the materials until Friday. So that was a long 5 days for folks to wait, but it was all really great. The only other thing I have to report on is the Forest Biomass Business Center is continuing. It does seem like an incremental pace at this moment, and at the same time, it's so many things are happening at once. COVID and supply chain issues have once again upped the overall price of the project. So that was not good to hear, but we are moving forward with the land acquisition from SPI. We're getting the land assessed, surveyed, I mean, and moving forward with that. So, oh boy, I'm just hoping to wait for the day where I can say we have broken ground. So until then, or until our next meeting, that's all for now. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Kathy. Anyone have questions for Kathy? Thoughts? Did I see someone unmute there? All right.
Oh, it was me, Allison. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Just wasn't sure if there was a question. All right. Yeah. Thanks again, Kathy. All right. Next up, Sierra Pacific Industries. I think I saw Ryan and Eric on there. Do you guys have any updates for the group?
Yeah, this is Ryan. I'm here. I don't know if Eric's on or not, but yeah, we're just slowly getting going on our mastication work there in Brownsville for the Stevens Fund portion of the fuel break. We've got a second masticator machine that just showed up yesterday. And so there's actually 2 on site. One's in Wildcat Canyon, west of Brownsville, and the other one is south of Brownsville a little bit. The second machine has not gotten up and running yet. but should be soon. I mean, it's still pretty wet out there, but it's drying quick now finally. I was out there yesterday. There's water running here and there, but I think we're getting to the point where we should be able to, as long as it doesn't rain a bunch more, get going and get some acres done. So far, I don't know how many acres we've done, but maybe 10, something like that.
Great. And that's on the Stevens Fund, you said, on that work?
All on the Stevens Fund, yes.
Great. Great. I think I sent you guys the draft contract too, if you want to get reimbursed for that work. You can
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll follow up on that.
get that
Yes.
finalized.
And
yeah.
the signs too. The signs, I need to, didn't you say you had those?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I've been meaning to reach out to you about that. They are at the office, so I just need to get them up to you one of these days.
Yeah, we'll talk and we'll
Yeah.
figure out some way to meet up.
Yeah, we can coordinate something. They do need stakes or something to post them on too, but
Okay,
we can
well, we'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Thanks,
totally.
Allison.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. All right. Next up, Chai Company. I got just a little memo from Chai. So they don't have much new to report since last month. They've been mostly rained and snowed out. And I think that's all on their front. Similar to SBI, hoping to get back in there soon with if the weather keeps staying nice the way it's been at least past few days. All right, and then last up we have on the agenda is Siller Brothers. Is anyone here from Sillers? I don't see anyone there, so okay, great. Well, thanks everyone, all our partners and your great updates. Great to hear about all the work. Oh, and actually, we I probably should. Sorry, I forgot. Chris, if you want to jump in, I always forget to get you on the agenda here, Sierra Nevada Conservancy. I'll make a note right now.
It's okay. I'm just absorbing it all. So one thing I should mention, we have last week we released guidelines for a new wildfire recovery and forest resilience grant program. This is general fund money rather than bond money. But it's for the most part, it's the same kind of program as our healthy forest programs. The first round of funding for 25 million applications are actually due January 31st. So it's been a very short turnaround time. I've been trying to reach out to partners and well, I'm getting an internet connection unstable. That's unusual for me. However, there will also be a second round sometime after June. This is a semi-directed grant program. So any project ideas should be discussed with me. I'd be vetting them, and then I would be providing the application form.
Great, thanks, Chris. Are those for that grant program? Are you looking at kind of larger? I admit I haven't looked at the guidelines in detail, but kind of larger landscape scale or community scale?
Not necessarily. It's pretty broad, and we're always emphasizing, pace and scale larger, but it doesn't have to be a huge project.
Okay.
And also, we always, other than last year where we had some money for immediate on the ground shovel ready projects, we can fund planning projects through this grant also.
great to know. Yeah, that certainly too. Okay, great. We I know at least from Fire Safe Council, we are super busy right now, but I would like to talk to you before the when you said the after June round. I think that could be a good timeline for us, and maybe a partnership with RCD or open to discussion.
Right, and actually, you know, I have been talking to on trying to pass an applicant. You know, we're working to. I know she's looking for like a forest fellow or something. So I don't know what we can do, but we have our RFFC program. So I'm getting something connected up to see whether, you know, there's a more direct way we can help the RCD's capacity.
Great, yeah.
Also, I guess one thing I should mention is Joanna Lassard with the with Yuba Water is putting together a grant writing workshop. A lot of people and so we're in fact, she's putting out a doodle, I think, or with people that are already she's aware of that are looking for grant writing training. Is get a hold of her to get into one.
Yeah, that's going to be facilitated by Alyssa Brown. Is that correct?
Yeah, Elisa will be doing that one.
As Alyssa is the best.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Chris. Anyone have questions for Chris? For Sierra Nevada Conservancy. I'll admit I was having some internet connection issues. I don't know if it was you, Chris, or if it was me, but hopefully it straightens it out. It's all fucking proof that we need better internet, right? I think Ian took off, but we can show him.
So I got 100 megabyte internet, so if I got a problem, everyone's got a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks for that report, Chris. All right, next up, Beverly, I think you're up with the Outreach and Education Committee.
Thanks, Allison. Well, I was hoping that we were going to be easing back into a time when we could go out and do some meet and greets, but I don't think that's going to be happening right away. So trying to look for some other ways to get out to groups of people to really discuss the need for looking at wildfire mitigation and what things they can be doing, and just to, kind of beat the bushes, so to speak, for groups that haven't really embraced the idea of doing defensible space and what they can do as far as home hardening. I'm hoping maybe you can start doing something just online to get out to people and some of the various community groups. But that, that's just a matter of typing something up and sending it out and hoping it gets to the right person. Also, I'd like to I'm really going to try to make an effort here in the next couple of months to get a few more people to be part of this group, because as we all know, the more networking you can do, the better. And we need people from different communities up here in the foothills to get that networking done. I feel like I've got a lot of them, but I also need some specific people to carry the banner into certain communities, and with that kind of media contact that they can, social media, that they can reach out and bring more people into the idea of doing their defensible space, reaching out for wildfire mitigation, putting in address signs, all the different things that we've been trying to do with residences that not only improve their fire resistance, but also might be really aiding them now, and listening to Randy, that in some of their insurance searches as well. So, so that's on my agenda right now. And then also, Tony really would like to see some of the pictures and things when you do these big groups, when you have a lot of cooperative groups with your burns at Beale there or in the area. Because as most of you know, the calendar is out. We've had a really good response to it. The copies are flying off, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback about the information that's in the calendars. And we've got a lot of new spots where we've been able to distribute them. So if there's a location like Kathy up in Camptonville, or in Smartsville, where they might be running low, if people will let me know, I'll head out and get more distributed. People really like the tab at the bottom that made it easy for them to find the emergency at phone numbers and addresses. And one individual I gave the calendar to happened to be the first thing he opened up to was the healthy forest and the comparative pictures, the before and after of the thinning. And having come from a family where his father was a logger many, many years back, looked at that picture of the thin forest and said, that's what it should look like. So we need more disciples like that out, you know, making sure that those in power know that we know that that's what needs to be happening in order to protect us, to get the trees, the forest healthier. And so I think we had a lot of good information in the calendar. And Allison and I had quite a time getting it out, but we did. And I'm hoping to try to start on things a little earlier this year, so we're not trying to beat the Christmas deadline. I think that's about it. I don't know if anybody hasn't, we're still cranking out tow chain covers and getting them out to areas. And Allison has been doing a great job getting the address signs detailed out and getting to their locations. And more we're seeing people asking for them. And really, I want to shout out to some of the people that are at the CAL FIRE station and at the thrift shops where they're being staged, is that they're actually taking the initiative to call people and say, hey, your address sign is here. Captain Cruz from CAL FIRE 60 was over at 61, and he just took an afternoon and started going through and calling people off of the tags. And he said he had about 8 people show up to pick up their signs. So kudos to all of them. And thank you for helping us in the process. I appreciate that. And we just need to keep getting those address signs out there so we can make sure that people are visible in an emergency, whether it be a fire or whether it be a medical emergency, particularly on a cold, rainy, foggy night. So I think that's about all I have, unless somebody has any questions or additions.
Well, I just want to say, Beverly, that is, and Allison, you guys did a great job on that calendar. We went through it and saw everybody's going to want one of these. And they've been going at our local store and our post office. Folks have been picking them up. I think we're okay for now. We still have probably about 30 copies here, but I'll keep you informed if we need more. Thank you again. It was really, really a wonderful effort.
Thank you, Kathy.
Hey, Beverly, everything you dropped off to me was eaten up last night at the Alcove board meeting, so I could use a few more if you're in the area.
Okay, absolutely. Have calendars, will travel.
Awesome. Thanks, Beverly. Yeah, I agree. Those calendars turned out great. And we still have a couple boxes to get out. So keep sharing them, everybody. Give them to your neighbors. Get the word out. So, and to follow up on the address signs too, since we're talking about those, we did, gosh, I didn't look up the exact number, but we did somewhere around 70 address signs just in December, just as like a pre-Christmas push, which was a lot. But we got those done. I think we're up to around 440 something signs total that we've done total, which is, I think it's been just about a year or so that we've done that. So that's impressive. That's a lot. But we know there are a lot more to do as well. So yeah, keep spreading the word. We'd love to.
I have to say, this is the first time in 20 years that I've been involved in fire stuff in this community that we have had this kind of conversation in the month of December. People usually forget about it in November. So this is awesome, guys. Good job.
That is the goal. Yeah,
Thanks.
is for these winter months. It's easy to relax and not think about fire, but yeah, we need to keep pushing. What do they call it? It's like historic amnesia or something. Seasonal amnesia, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in our case it is because, we get all the snow and the rain and everybody's thinking, oh yeah, it's all over. And the reality is I tell people, yes, we need the rain, but be careful what you wish for because the rain brings the weeds and the grasses and we start the whole cycle all over again. So we just have to be cognizant all the time. It can't just be a June to, October issue. So it's good. Let's just keep it in the front of people's minds and hopefully it becomes so ingrained that it's not the sudden in June, like, oh my gosh, I've got to do something. They're front loading and they're doing it ahead of the curve. And thank you all for helping make that happen, because I think this group has turned into a force of nature, which is helpful. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Great. Well, thanks, Beverly, again, for all that you do. And everyone, be sure to reach out to Beverly if you want to join on the outreach committee. Like she said, we need some help, and always a lot to do. So, all right. Next up, Sean, do you have a board report for us?
Yeah, we don't have much going on board wise. We're gonna, follow up with our meeting. I know that you got some interviews planned for your helper. We're gonna have some discussion on how that position is changing, but I don't have much on that now until after that part happens. On a complete different side note, I just sent out a link to everyone on this chat for 3 positions at the University of California Natural Resources Group is putting out for a fire coordinator and fire advisors. The fire coordinator will be based out of Auburn, and then they'll have 2 fire advisors, one based out of Lassen Modoc and the other Sonoma and Napa Marin. They're looking, which I think in the long run, these will be good people to get into our, even if they're out of Placer County, what would be a good group to have tied into us. They're going to be working through the University Cooperative Extension Program to help promote fuel reduction and fire programs within Northern California. So these would definitely be something we want to stay tied to and connected with as a way of passing on information and gathering information and resources. So I don't know if you got this, Allison. I think everybody on the registered professional forester list probably got this email from the Board of Forestry. But if we could at least do what we can to work with the University Cooperative to keep in contact with who they are and how we might be able to utilize them, I think that'd be to our benefit.
Absolutely, yeah. And those positions also that's separate from the forestry advisor. They're just these are fire positions. But yes, for sure, we will keep in touch with that process.
Hey,
Could've
Sean,
been,
did I hear that they're gonna be replacing Kate Wilkins' position?
Yeah, there's talk about refilling it, but a little bit of a change to it. And Allison might have a little bit more information on exactly what they were going to do with her spot.
Yeah, so that one, they actually, I think I talked a little bit about it last time. They included me on some of the presentations and interviews. So I believe I heard they made an offer to someone. I don't know when the new person starts, but yeah, hopefully that is very close to happening, to having someone on board. So I will.
She was a huge part in helping all of us get things rolling around here. If we could get in touch with that new person, that'd be great.
Yes, no, we will definitely get the new person involved.
Yeah, and hopefully they have at least half the energy she had, because she was a little force of energy. So definitely someone great to work with.
Totally.
So that's end of report for me. I'll hand it off to Allison to go over from here on out.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sean. Let's see, first off, I do want to acknowledge we are 1 minute to 11. So if anyone needs to hop off, thank you for being here, but we'll just be a few more minutes if you can hang on. So yeah, let's see, my report for being December, it sure felt really busy. First up, we do have the Fire Safe Council is applying for a CAL FIRE fire prevention grant. We're working with YWA, Yuba Water Agency, and with Yuba County. And so that's going to cover kind of a first phase of roadside vegetation clearing. Right now we're looking at the Dobbins area, just as like a first chunk to chunk off, but we'll certainly be addressing the entire Yuba foothills over time, because this is following work. I think I've talked about it on here before. The right now we have Ascent Environmental working on a project specific analysis CEQA document. So that's gonna that will be complete this spring, and it's going to allow us to treat, to remove vegetation within like extended road buffers, so beyond the normal right-of-ways along the roads that we've been able to do before. So it'll be extended buffers, 150 feet along all county roads and 30 feet along all private roads. So that, taking off a first chunk of that project will be part of this grant application. And then we're also working in a dead tree removal program for the whole foothills. Basically, it'll probably run similar to our residential chipping program, actually. But we might do a little more specific outreach to property owners who we know have dead trees, and really kind of focusing on like high risk infrastructure as well. So dead trees near roads or homes or other structures, that kind of thing. So that's like grant proposal real quick in a nutshell. Application is underway and is due early February. So we're working hard on that. We will be asking a lot of folks here to sign a letter of support. So I'm going to try to get those out sometime this week, actually. So be on the lookout for that. For a letter of support, you can sign and get back to us as soon as you are able. And I'm happy to answer more questions anytime about that grant as well. So feel free to reach out. But Chris, I do see you have a hand up if you want to jump in.
Yeah, with these, the extended, with the work, I mean, so it's all going to be on private land.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about dozens, maybe hundreds of properties. So
yes,
that's always been a huge challenge to us, is, the land tenure. So, I mean, where are you at? What are you looking at as far as the CAL FIRE grant and handling that, their requirements for I'll just call it for permission.
For permission, yeah. We are going to, at first I was thinking we would hire a whole nother position to basically to manage this and manage the landowner outreach. We might end up going with a consultant instead, but basically we'll have an additional person because I do not have the time to do that. That's a whole job in itself. So and we know that there will be some people who won't allow us on their property, but we're going to hope.
But the fire prevention grant, does that allow you to, to secure the grant and then sign up people as you go?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because that's something that we used to do a long time ago, and then we can't do that. It just killed us on being able to do, field break work on private land. So
yeah, no, so thankfully, we can get the grant and then basically show, okay, we have funding to do work on your property.
I'm hoping we can maybe take lessons from CAL FIRE and figure out how we can do that again.
Dude, totally, yeah.
All right, great, thanks.
Certainly a big challenge. So, but it needs to be done at some point. So.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try. So thanks for that. Any other thoughts on that grant? It's kind of a big, it's consuming a lot of my time right now and my thought energy, but happy to answer any questions. Steve, did I see you on mute? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a great grant opportunity and look forward to it. Also, it'll be great having the PSA and all the CEQA work done ahead of time for not only that grant, but potentially looking down the road for a Sierra Nevada Conservancy grant as well. What's the timing for having the PSA completed?
I think we're looking at this spring. I did ask them yesterday to kind of confirm that. But yeah, it got delayed a little bit, but because they said there were more complexities and they are looking for a little bit more for the budget too. They said they underestimated the cost by a lot. So we're going to include a little bit to finish the PSA in this grant proposal. Because we don't believe the requirement is you have to have CEQA done within the first year, 6 months of the grant timeline. We don't have to have it complete before we apply, basically. So yeah, this spring is the goal. Some planning this summer. This is assuming we're awarded this CAL FIRE grant. If we are, then some planning this summer, and then probably starting mastication next winter once we get rains again. So yes.
Okay.
Any other questions on that? Awesome. Well, again, thanks in advance to everyone for signing letters of support for us. If you're willing and able to do that, we'll be, like I said, sending that out soon. So be on the lookout. All right, let's see what else is on my list. We're talking with YWA also about updating the CWPP, the Community Wildfire Protection Plan. Our current one was put together in 2014. So we'd like to just to update that and then kind of make it more of a living document that kind of continually gets updated. We do, last year, Steve helped coordinate getting the data platform up and running. So that kind of helps. We have the CWPP on there, and that will kind of help create a more interactive CWPP, but we want to get all the project data in there up to date. And yeah, so we're looking at updating that basically. Just wanted to kind of bring that up. It'll be, we're just in kind of beginning talks right now. So we'll probably launch into that more in a few months from now. But thought while I have everyone here, I might want to ask real quick, who all here knows about the CWPP or does anyone use it actively? Or is that something you would use in your work? I don't know, like Forest Service, CAL FIRE. Oh, go ahead.
Isn't that document, Steve could probably answer this a lot better, but that document is required for certain grants and things and to get certain monies. So I know that it is used that way. And I may have the 2014 proposal that we did. If so, I will share that with you.
Okay.
And yeah, okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Great. Yeah, and certainly it's definitely useful for grant applications. I'm just curious, like if folks like the Forest Service or anyone goes and like refers to that, or if that is something that would be useful to kind of have this big collaborative planning document, or kind of how that could be most useful for you.
You know, Allison, I think the intent of the data platform project was to serve as an updated CWPP. And I know a lot of the projects were updated, but it's, you know, it's something that, like you said, is living. It needs to be updated regularly, particularly in regards to completed projects and then prioritizing new projects. But I think the data platform is the best opportunity for creating an ongoing CWPP rather than just a fixed document like the 2014 document.
Totally, yeah. And so basically, we want to like build on that data platform then, and make sure, I guess, kind of build a system for keeping it updated with all our different stakeholders, projects and priorities in there.
Yeah, the piece that was missing out of last year's effort or the year before, the COVID years run together, is the community input pieces. So what we did before was we went and visited all 5 fire districts. And I think that is an important piece to include, because a lot of times that's the only opportunity the actual community folks get to, vet it, and look through it and get their hands on the maps and, and do that kind of stuff. So in this proposal, I think that would be worthwhile to include that community engagement part.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know that even though that grant closed, but because of COVID restrictions and the fact that we did not get the public meetings done, I know 34 North has committed in the past to provide some additional support, basically on their dime. I don't know if you've had further conversations with them, but I know there's an opportunity to get some further assistance from them at no cost to the Fire Safe Council.
Yeah, I've been talking with them a little bit off and on, so definitely. But
excellent.
Yeah. Okay, well, great. I just wanted to kind of bring that up and know that that's something we're working on. And if folks aren't using it, people should go look at the data platform and do use that, because I think that's having more of us utilizing that great tool will help us keep this plan updated, I suppose. That's the way to say it, but great. Okay, thanks everyone on that. Let's see. I'm really close to hiring a project coordinator. I interviewed a few folks last week, and so haven't made a decision yet, but we'll be making an offer soon. So hopefully we'll have someone new here helping out. Hopefully by the next meeting. If not, definitely sometime in February. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to have some help.
Good.
All right. Yeah, let's see, not much else new to report. Those are kind of the big ones that we touched on. I am still working on getting out our home hardening and defensible space cost share programs, getting those up and running by February. And Curtis has been helping get the website ready and get applications ready for that. So should be just in time for our new person to jump in and help launch those programs. So those will be exciting. Let's see. Only other thing I have is I think I kind of mentioned at the beginning too, but yeah, we're still staying with these virtual meetings for now, for the foreseeable future. Like we said, I said before, we're hoping, we want to get back in person soon, but just with this Omicron thing and all of that, we're just going to stay virtual. So definitely for February, and then we'll play it by ear from there. So yeah, anything else folks want to bring up? I see a hand. Yes, Keith.
I'm back. I don't know how to use that little hand that Chris used. I thought that was pretty awesome. So I had to use a physical hand. So my apologies. And
it's a choice under reactions.
I thought it might be buried in there. I see a little happy face with a plus sign, and I thought,
it's below those.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, I didn't want to send out any wrong signals, but thanks. Thanks for putting me in the right direction, Chris. Appreciate it. So, Allison, I just have a few real quick things I just wanted to update people on. Again, Keith Chambers, the Chai Company, filling in for Madison Thompson, who I think a lot of you know because he's camera shy today. At least that's how I will describe it. And I just wanted to, again, make a shout out to Steve. Steve, great to see you again. And, you know, I wanted to say hi to Sean and to Ryan, and just say it's good to see that you guys are still well in the neighborhood and involved. So glad to see that. I did want to also mention for Gary Files, you know, I'm putting in today, you know, Chai's regular donation request to our foundation. And, you know, we annually give out donations to all the fire departments. And Kathy LeBlanc, I have not forgotten you. And so you're on the list as well, or at least the partnership is on, not you personally. And so those will be getting reviewed and probably approved this week. And I wanted to mention to Gary, you know, we always give regular donations to the Oregon Peak Lookout volunteers, you know, in support of the equipment that they need. And, you know, the celebration they put on, you know, for those people who volunteer their valuable time to that tremendous asset to the community. And just be on the lookout. We write that check to the Dobbins, how do I have it listed here? It's going to be the, it's to the Dobbins Fire Department Auxiliary, but it's for the benefit of the volunteers. So the check will be going to the auxiliaries PO box, but it'll be earmarked, you know, for the volunteers. So when you have your celebration, make sure it's a real nice one. You know, it's not leftovers from somebody's TV dinner. That you really you put on a good feast for all the people that do volunteer their time. So
thank you, and we will make sure it's a good one.
Very good, very good. And yeah, make sure Allison and Madison are invited. I always used to attend, and in my younger years, and the volunteers I think had a great time making fun of me. Okay, so because I can take that kind of abuse pretty well, and but I always had a great time, you know, and visiting with the local folks and getting to know them better. So the only other thing I wanted to mention was, and hopefully I'm not talking out of school, and maybe you guys have already discussed this, but I wanted to get it on your radar screen. Because this is something that's near and dear to me, not only for the timberlands that I've been involved with Steve, you know, for a very long time, but also as a homeowner, in the Grass Valley area, as well as all of you as homeowners in the foothills. The Grass Valley City Council in 2011 approved a major subdivision at the foot of the Nevada County Air Park, okay, which is also known as our extremely valuable air attack base. Okay, this summer they broke ground to put in the infrastructure on the first portion, the first phase of that development. So I called the city planner and said, hey, what have you done in your approval of that project to ensure the going forward use of Nevada County Air Park as an air attack base? It's an extremely valuable asset to numerous foothill communities, you know, Yuba, Nevada, Placer. I mean, this is that air attack base is a crucial piece of the entire air network for fighting fire. So basically, you know, the response was, well, you know, we just asked the developer and the real estate community to put out voluntarily put out deed notices and disclosure statements to potential buyers. Okay, well, in my world, volunteer, you know, in the face of a sale is not a lot of motivation. So I think that we as a Fire Safe Council need to keep an eye on the whatever political activity or whatever pressure is afoot in the Grass Valley area, because the flight path of the aircraft is directly, I mean, directly over a vast majority of those homes that are going to be they're probably going to start construction this summer. Okay, so I don't know if that was already on your radar screen. I'd like to get it on your radar screen, because if CAL FIRE needs our support from a community, from a Fire Safe Council, from a FireWise community, you know, we need to band together and basically tell those homeowners, hey, you know, you should have done your homework, but that air attack base ain't going away. And so I don't know if that was already, you know, on your screen, but I'd like to get it there. And if we hear any kind of political fallout or pressure from that, we need to take action immediately. We cannot afford to lose that air attack base.
Keith, do you know if the CEQA has been completed on that project development? Because we definitely could put in comments for the CEQA.
Kathy, it was done. It was finished and approved in 2011.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's a done deal. Okay. And unfortunately, you know, I think that the county or the city, because it was annexed into the city probably had the ability to make as a condition of approval that they do provide protective measures for that air attack base, such as deed disclosures, real estate disclosures. But you know, they acknowledged that the presence of the air attack base, but as far as I'm aware, nothing was definitively done to provide for the protection of the base's continued existence. Okay, so it's been a very quiet neighborhood until I started breaking ground this summer. There are going to be a lot of homes being built at the base of that air park, and you know, we cannot let those people who are likely going to be a lot of transplants moving in from urban areas who are going to say, hey, what the heck is that aircraft flying over my house, and I don't like it when I'm out of my backyard sipping a Mai Tai. Okay, well, guess what? That's life in the foothills, and you got to get used to it.
So who should we address our concerns to?
Well, there's really nothing we can do now. It's already, unless it would be to the Grass Valley Planning Department. I mean, basically just say, hey, we're watching, we're aware, you know, we don't want to see any fallout from this, but if we want to be proactive and get a jump on it. But homes are going to get built this year and people are going to start moving in. And that's when, if there's going to be any fallout, that's when it's going to start. So yeah, you know, it might be a good time to take a proactive action, because again, what was conveyed to me by the senior planner was that whatever's being done to make people aware of the base's present existence is strictly voluntary on the part of the real estate community and the developer. So, and it sounded as though when I spoke with the planner, there was nothing that the planning department at this time, because the project's been approved, can go back and make as an amended condition of approval. Apparently, they just, at least from his point of view, they couldn't do that. So I don't know if the pressure goes to, the Nevada County real estate people. I just, I've never been involved in a project like this, but man, we can't let that base go away.
I agree, and so much has changed on the landscape since 2011. And I'm a type of person who takes no as an opening offer. So I think, it's sort of our due diligence to go to the Board of Supervisors and explain to them and make sure it's in front of them. And maybe Keith, you could write a letter to the editor for the union and let the public realize also what's going on. I just think that it's, this day and age, that base is so crucial to everything. That's how come our fires don't go nuts, because we have that quick response.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, when those aircraft fly over my house, that's
I'm happy.
That's music to my ears.
Yes.
Hey, this is Tony from Beal. If I do remember correctly, back in 2011, when it went out for commenting, the Forest Service actually commented on it, because we do have Air Attack 17 from the Forest Service that comes out of Grass Valley Air Attack Base. And I know they did put a comment in there with that. I don't know how in-depth their commenting was on it and what they had said. So I definitely do advise on researching that and going against them. Back when I was with the Forest Service and I was in Montana for a season as a ATGS training or air attack trainee, our air attack base that we're flying out of Missoula, they had built a new residential area in there, and they actually shut down air operations for half the season because of the complaints. So just a heads up on that.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that back up. I feel like we talked about it maybe sometime last summer, but yeah, definitely good to have on our radar. And yeah, if you can help us figure out actually ways that Fire Safe Council can be proactive and yeah, making it clear how much we support and need that air attack base. Yeah,
I'd be glad to help out.
Yeah, and the partners, include the partners as well, because we'll have a massive voice. I mean, everybody on this call today, on this Zoom conference, if we have a call to action, we can all sign a letter that says, this is vitally important to the infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera. So keep us informed, please.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity, Allison, to also reach out and partner with Fire Safe Council of Nevada County and, potentially Butte County. Like you say, this is an issue that will affect all of our local areas, Placer County as well, of course. So yeah, Keith, thank you for the update on this information. Good to see you. And when'd you turn gray?
Mr. Andrews, I think you've known me for a long time being gray. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't mind helping out, especially when I retire. Okay, I'm not retired yet. Okay, but I have some people that are cheering for me. So let's put it that way. So yeah, and so after I do retire, you may have to get used to hearing my voice. All right. All right.
That's good.
Yeah, and Steve, yeah, that beard of yours is looking better every day. Huh? All right, thanks everyone.
All right, guys.
Hey,
Awesome.
Keith, I got something for you. This is Ryan McKillop.
Yeah, hey Ryan.
How you doing?
I'm good. It's unusual for me to hear you say Ryan McKillop SPI.
Oh, it's really unusual. I know, but that's the truth of it today. Hey, how does Foothill Fire Department get some of this free money you're handing out?
Hey, Foothill's always been on my list, and they're on today's list as well.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. This past year was really busy, and I've taken on more responsibilities at the company. So our donations that we normally give out in summertime slip through the cracks. So Foothill, yeah. Hey, Ryan, we haven't forgotten Foothill.
Yeah, keep us on the list. I'm still there 20 years now, so.
Yeah. And I guess maybe the word you can pass up the food chain to the Emersons is that, consider this a matching challenge.
Yeah, we donated a saw for the last fundraiser we did for the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Soper used to do that, for years, but that's
They
been
did.
handed off. That baton's been handed off, so.
All right.
Yeah, but anything is appreciated for sure. Hopefully when this Measure K money comes through, that'll help us out. We haven't seen a dime yet.
Okay, huh. Hey, who's just not to drag this on, but who's the chief of Foothill now?
So that's Chris Green, Chief Green.
Chief Green, okay. Got it. All
Anyway,
right.
Good to see you. Good to see you too, Steve.
Back at you, Ryan.
I don't have my camera on because I'm turning gray.
Hey, but it's a display of wisdom, right?
All right.
All right. All righty, back to you, Allison.
Thank you. Well, thanks for all of that and for all that Chai does to support our work in the community.
Oh yeah, and great work on getting those signs out, and fire safe councils on our list as well. So
awesome, thank you. We always appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone. I know we've gone quite a bit over time, but anything else anyone wanted to bring up today before we close off?
Allison, can I talk to you after the meeting?
Yes, we have a board meeting, but then after that.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, hearing nothing else, I'll let everybody go. Thanks so much for being here. We do have a board meeting after this, so board members, please stay. You don't get to leave yet, and anyone's welcome to stay for the board meeting too. We just have a few items to discuss and approve, but yeah, thanks again for being here. We'll see you next month. Like I said, still virtually. Take care.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right. If it just looks like people left for a break. Let's take a couple minute break real quick. Let people do any things we need to do.
Shoot, did Beverly leave? She did. Darn it. Well. Should you put everybody on pause?
Dwayna, hello there.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Oh, I'm
Oh, it's going.
Getting there.
That's quite an echo. Could you hear that,
All right.
Curtis?
No, it's echoing.
It's great to hear from you, hear from you.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's a little better.
Yeah, better.
Hey, real quick, Allison, what I wanted to talk to you about was I set up a new Facebook page as opposed to a Facebook group. Can you hear me?
Are you muted?
I was muted. Gotcha.
Turn your sound off.
Mine's off.
I'm hearing like an
Sorry
echo,
about
I
that.
think, from both of
Yeah,
you.
it's still going back and forth between Curtis and Dwayne.
Yeah, maybe if one of you could mute yourself.
Dwayne turned hers off.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, we're still getting. Oh, okay. That should be
All
good.
right. Sorry about that. Steve, I was hoping Beverly would stick around too. I started a new Facebook page, which is more like a business page. It's not a place for people to go chat and make comments and stuff on. It's more for things that we want to put out as Fire Safe Council.
Mhm.
From that page, you can share over to our Facebook group. Allison, I tried to invite you, but you never accepted my friend request on Facebook. That's what
Oh,
please
no.
accept my friend request so I can get you invited to this new group.
Oh, I'm
Steve,
sorry.
I saw
didn't know that.
you've already accepted. So that's what that new page is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Cool.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Excellent.
Sorry, Curtis. I accept you as a friend. Let's do that right now.
I made you part of our family, I thought.
I know. Let's see. It looks like I'm still waiting for Pam, so I'll look for this real quick. Oh, Pam appeared. Okay, I will do that
Later.
Later. But if you don't see that come through, remind me. Okay, thanks. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Do we have everyone here? I see Steve and Pam and Sean.
We must have lost Steve Heater.
Yeah, he said he had 1% left on his phone and no charger. So, but we do have quorum, so that's great.
Good.
That's all we need for today. Awesome. So let me pull up. Oh my gosh, where'd it go? The agenda. So I don't remember now whether I mentioned this in one of the latest emails I sent out, but thank you guys for trying to do the approval via email method. But
Yeah.
So Creighton abstained, which was why we couldn't approve unanimously through there, because he feels like because he works for the water agency and they provide funds to the Fire Safe Council, that he didn't feel comfortable voting on financial related things. So
Allison,
yeah,
can I
yeah.
just ask a quick question? Maybe
Sure.
I was letting Rosie in and I missed it. Did you close the other meeting and open this meeting? Do we need to do that?
No, we haven't opened this meeting yet. Yeah, so we
Okay.
need to do that. So I was just
Chatting.
chatting.
Okay.
Yes, kind of
Okay. All right.
why the same things are on this agenda. That's what I emailed out.
Got
But yes, if we'd like to officially get this started, let's do that. Are you here, Sean? I can't see you.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, perfect.
I can try the video, but I don't know how long my internet will work.
That's fine. Just wanted to make sure because we couldn't see us. So Gosh, I feel like it's been a while. I don't even remember how we do this. Do you want to kick us off, Sean? Call the meeting to order.
So if the other one's officially closed, we'll call to order the meeting of the Yuba Watershed Fire Safe Council Board meeting at 11:38 on January 12th. Roll call. We have myself. We have Pamela Cook, Steve Andrews, Duana, and public member Curtis with Executive Director Allison Thompson. All right. And I believe that's all we have attending, correct?
Yeah. That's it for today. But that
All
is a
right, with
quorum.
that, let's work our way through the board meeting agenda. Did you send a separate board meeting agenda? Because the only ones I keep finding were for the council meeting.
The agenda for the board meeting is just the second page of the
It was a
council meeting agenda.
second page.
I
Yeah.
just had to look farther.
Yeah.
Scroll down. Okay, first up, we're going to consider the approval of minutes from the October meeting. Did everybody have a chance to read those minutes? Any additions to the minutes? Can I get a motion to approve?
A motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
With a motion to approve and a second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Minutes are approved.
It
Move
was a
on to
long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I had for dinner last night, but boy, I'm good with those minutes.
They were
Things you
good
wrote.
minutes. That was a lot going on.
Yep, good set. Okay, let's next up consider the approval of the additional employee benefits. We all had a chance to review the benefits change that Allison sent out. Any question or discussion on those? Like she stated, I believe we had the opportunity to do the full, everybody on board here at least had the opportunity to review and approve. So if we can get a motion to approve the additional employee benefits.
Yeah, I propose a motion to approve the additional employee benefits as described in this memo of December 2021.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And were those minutes ever posted on our website? Not minutes, but those benefits ever posted on the website?
That has not been posted.
Okay,
Do we need?
that's
to?
fine. I just
Okay.
that's probably a good idea in the future, is that if we have
Sure.
have something to look at, that way we if there was going to be public comment about it, they would have a chance to something to comment on. But we have a
Okay, yeah, I can.
we have a motion to approve and a second. Any with that, can we have a
I have a
vote?
question now.
Yep.
I have a question. Allison, you have the last topic is other benefit options. Did you want buy-in, or did you want us to listen to something regarding health insurance, FML, and retirement life insurance?
So I just put those on there. That's not something I'm proposing at all at this time, but just kind of like want to have a list out there of like, those are other options that other places, other companies, other nonprofits. And I have not done my research on it, but probably some fire safe councils offer as far as benefits. But I figured let's at least start with some paid time off, some paid vacation. And if we want to, the way I was viewing it was basically if we want to discuss adding some of those other options in the future.
And to your knowledge, are any of those things required in today's labor law?
No, and Dwayne can correct me if I'm wrong, but the only thing that's required is the 3 days of sick leave per year, and we do currently offer that.
Yeah, it is just the sick leave is the only thing that's required by the labor board. And nothing else, everything else just constitutes a time off policy. And that is just chosen by, you know, the employer. Just the sick time is the only thing that's required.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the list, particularly in my mind anyway, health insurance, family and medical leave are issues that we should at least do some research on. I think with the health insurance, it would probably, you know, could not be a standalone policy, but would have to be in partnership with some other group. I don't know, maybe you know, Allison, if through the state Fire Safe Council, if they've got health insurance that local fire safe councils can be a part of.
That's a great question. I don't know. I haven't looked too far into that, but
let me chime in on the family medical leave. So that's
Yeah.
something totally different. That's not something that you offer as an employer. That's something that an employee is allowed to take. They apply through the state for it. So it's something we can't deny them, but it's not a benefit that we offer. That's a benefit through the state.
gotcha. I think I saw that on some list somewhere as basically like you can offer that as something in it like above and beyond what you could get through the state. Like I have friends who get like 6 months off of maternity leave. Kind of a thing, which is not what the state offers. But yes, there is definitely that state program. So
I will, if the board would like, I would volunteer to do a little bit of checking on health insurance availability.
I would support that, Steve. I think it's an important benefit if we want to keep staff on board. That's a real good way to do so. And if we can afford it, I would support it.
Well, and the other thing is maybe there's a, you know, Allison, I heard you say something about you checked with some other fire safe councils. Perhaps there's some type of health insurance that's for nonprofits, you know, specifically for nonprofits rather than going through the business marketplace for insurance. You know, that might be some way to look at it rather than trying to go through Covered California or something. You know, nonprofits, there might be some benefit going through that.
Especially during this period of the Great Resignation where everybody's getting to pick and choose their jobs right now. If we want to keep somebody more than a couple months, we probably need to have something to compete with what else is out there. So it's definitely good to look into it.
Yeah, that's where this kind of thinking came from, was when I was putting the job announcement together for this project coordinator. It's like, oh, if we want to find and keep someone good, we need to be able to offer something at least. So great. Yeah, if you want to look into health insurance, that'd be great, Steve. And I think on the being able to afford it front, I haven't looked into, you know, how much it'll cost right now, but certainly down the road, that's the kind of thing that we can write into grants. Can get covered like through our indirect costs, that kind of thing. So we can certainly, we have some extra funds now, but we can certainly make that a regular thing going forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I will, I'll do some research on that.
Awesome, thank you.
So Allison, on your proposals, let me see if I can find it again. Where'd you go? Too many tabs. What would you like the board to do? You've got employee benefit proposal, ED proposal. What would you like us to do?
I made this a little confusing. So I guess the thing I'm asking you to vote on is the stuff in bold under ED's proposal that says paid vacation 1 hour per every 20 hours worked, is what I'm proposing right now. And you can see a little further down that calculates out to with my time and then the new project coordinator, it'll cost us just under 5,000 a year. But actually, Dwayne can confirm that I'm thinking about this right. It might not be an additional 5,000. It's like those are the same hours that we're working. We just don't actually work for those, if that makes sense.
So I think you're going to need to write something succinct and direct as to what you would like us to vote on. And then
Okay.
I'm not sure that we could do that today because you haven't written it yet, but
okay, I guess
I'm
I
not trying
intended
to
it to be, yeah, those, just that paid vacation bullet with, and then the bullet under it, that's the 3-month probationary period, about how it accrues. You need that just like broken out separately?
well, I'm just trying to figure out what our future minutes would look like as to what we're voting on. So not trying to be problematic. I'm trying to make it as easy and clear as we can, but there's a lot of stuff on the proposal page.
Yeah, which is mostly just meant to be like background information.
Maybe we could just specifically vote on including in the benefit package the paid vacation 1 hour per every 20 hours worked.
Mhm.
I think that was the intent, was it not, Allison?
Yeah, exactly. That's the proposal part.
And if you could send me, once you get that typed up, Allison, send it to me, because then we're going to need to start looking at putting together an employee handbook.
Yes.
You know, now that we have some policies and stuff like that are beyond what the state requires, we'll have to get a little handbook going. And I think that there's some templates you can use online, that help you put that together so that the wording is all correct and all of that. And then we'll have one of those that, we could update as needed if healthcare or anything else is added to it.
Mhm. Yeah, I can definitely.
I had another question, Allison. The AIM grant, can let me know what that is? I know I'm just
I
behind
did look it up.
schedule or not knowing.
Yeah, so AIM grant, I think it stands for Action, Implementation, and Mitigation, but we received that grant, was it November or December? And so that's going to go, it's partly for the Defensible Space Cost Share program, and then they were also really big on capacity building. So about half of the time, let's see, what I listed on there is the indirect funds that we received from that grant. So that's that basically
Was that
covers
from,
and then it also covers the time for the project coordinator position.
was that from California State FSC?
No, so it's actually oh, sorry, the CFSC. Yeah, that's the California Fire Safe Council.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then the COCO AIM is the group issuing the grant is Coalitions and Collaboratives, Inc., and they are a nonprofit, but they are like a clearinghouse for Forest Service funds. That funding is. So, yes.
So if I'm understanding it correctly, what we're voting on to approve is a paid vacation of 1 hour per every 20 hours worked. Following a 3-month probationary period, vacation time accrues but cannot be used until after the 3 months of employment. So we're voting yay or nay on that.
Yes.
And are we not including the paid holidays?
So,
Because so it's the two options to consider, paid holidays and paid vacation being the two options. I'm taking it, we're only voting on the second, we're voting to approve the second option, not both options or not the first option.
exactly. Yeah, I put both those up there so we could discuss if we want. We could do holidays or we could do vacation. But my thinking with the holidays was because like right now, all of our employees are part-time. It gets a little complicated, like trying to figure out like, okay, if I want to take a whole holiday off, how do I count the hours for that holiday that get paid? So instead that let's just do paid vacation, and Dwayne can chime in. There was a difference between calling it vacation and calling it paid time off, I believe, but that way.
Yeah,
go ahead.
there is. So Allison and I talked kind of extensively about the paid holidays, because how it boils down to is, what if it's a day they weren't scheduled to work anyway? You know, say it's a Saturday and their hours are only Monday through Friday, say they choose 4 hours a day or whatever. Then we're going to be paying them for a day that they weren't going to be working anyway. And then, like Allison said, it comes into how much do you pay them for? So do we pay them for a holiday for just 4 hours? I could see doing that if it was a day they normally work, but lately all the holidays were falling on, you know, the weekends. And so I don't know, it was just going to be difficult, because say they choose to only work, what do we say, Allison? Like 4 days a week, you know, 5 hours a day. Then they get holiday pay for Thanksgiving, which is on their day they don't normally work, but yet we're paying them extra. So it was just kind of it was a little bit of a confusing thing to figure out how we would calculate what we pay them for holidays, and specifically which holidays. You know, do we have something that says, okay, every time a holiday falls on your normally working day, we pay you for it? That's a really clumpy and awkward way to write an employee handbook. You know, by trying to say if this or and this, you know, that's not a very cut and dried way. So that's why we had kind of not wanted to include it, because it was such an awkward thing to include if they're not working full time.
And this way, just calling it all vacation, you just have a certain number of hours of vacation. If you want to use it on a day that is a holiday, you can use it then, you can use it whenever.
Yeah, whenever. Calling it PTO, paid time off, rather than calling it like sick or vacation, means that it's all included in the same thing. They can use it for what they want. And because you call it PTO, you just have to make sure those 3 days of sick time are included, and that can be however you set it up, you know. So instead of it being sick time and vacation, you can call everything PTO if you wanted to. It can all be included in one, and then you don't have separate policies, you just have a paid time off policy.
I see on the P. Okay, which I think is why when I put it in here as vacation, I was like, that keeps it separate from the sick leave. But what you're saying, Dwayne, is we could.
So based on all the discussion, can I get an amended motion to approve paid time off based on the accruing 1 hour per every 20 hours worked and a 3-month probationary period?
I'll second that.
So someone's got to make the motion first. I was just asking for someone to make it.
I'll make that motion.
Goodness sakes.
I'll make the motion that we approve a policy of paid time off based on 1 hour per every 20 hours worked for each employee.
Now I get to say I second that.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion passed to approve the paid vacation 1 hour per every 20 hours work with a 3-month probationary period.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That was easy.
Sure.
Good.
Pulling teeth. All right, moving down to the next idea, consider approval of the 2022 budget.
Yes.
And I believe I saw that in there somewhere. Did everyone have a chance to look at that?
Yeah.
Is the print big enough for all of us old eyes to be able to see it?
Yeah, barely.
You can zoom in.
I had a question, Allison, on the revenue source. Is that a net? Are those net numbers? So say the original grant amounts less what's already been spent?
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically what we have left from each of those grants. That's
Okay.
what left beginning 2022.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wanted to clarify. Good.
Good question.
So if you slow down and help me with that question, if we look at an easy one like, where's that signage one? I thought I saw it, but an easy one like Yuba County line 13. Does that mean we're starting 2022 calendar year or fiscal year with 63,000? $41?
Give me a second. I lost mine. Where did it go?
Now, I thought our fiscal year was the calendar year.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, it is calendar year. Okay.
Okay.
So which line now, Pamela?
Well, just as an example for what you said, let's take a look at line 9, the easy one. We're starting the year out with 100,000.
Yes. Okay. So that
Yes.
one, yeah, that one is a new grant.
And then all the way down, that's what we're starting January off with.
Yes, that's not in the bank, but that is grants that are secured, funding that's secured. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And reading this, then we've not spent anything yet, or we have spent the home resilience program. So we had 100,000 to start on 100,000 in the resilience program. Does that mean we spent it?
No, so that one we have not.
Like, where's the end result of what we've got left in the bank on that line item? You see what I'm saying?
On that one specific,
On
so
any-
on
any of them, there's not a balance, or is there a balance and I'm not seeing it?
Down at the bottom is the like projected end of next year balance.
I'm not sure I'm understanding. I think the number we're seeing in that first column under total is the balance. So as an example, the Yuba County Wildfire Prevention Grant currently says 63,000. That one started off at 250,000.
Exactly.
Okay. So, and it would be in a fiscal statement then to tell us, let's see, how much we spend in January and what our balance would be. Would that be in a different document? Do you see what I'm trying to say? I'm trying to.
Oh, if like a projection of how much like per month that we expect to spend.
Well, maybe I should stop talking.
Because
no, I think what you're saying, if I'm understanding, is you'd have basically a statement for each of these grant sources, initial grant amount, amount spent in 2020, maybe amount spent in 2021, current balance. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes, I guess what I'm looking. Sorry, my dryer's telling me to get up. Sorry, I apologize. Everybody else is quiet in the house, but the dryer I don't have control over. In past positions I've had at the director level, I would present to the board a budget such as this, and let's keep it simple and just do the 100,000. And then in February's board meeting, let's pretend there's another column saying remaining balance. And I don't know if that's the right word for it, but the board would be able to tell how much we spent and how much we have left on a monthly basis. Is that too much information? Am I asking for too much?
That's something we could do if you guys want to see that on a month by month basis.
Well, maybe I'm asking for too much. I don't know, but how? So this is our annual budget. How do we help you manage it? And how do we help ourselves keep track of it? And is that another discussion? Sean, I feel like you're rolling your eyes, but I'm not sure.
No, I'm being attacked by my dog.
Oh, better than the dryer.
I got a dog that decided I'm now a chew toy, and I'm trying to convince her that I'm not.
Anyway, Dwayna, do you understand what I'm trying to ask? Dwayna, are you there?
I do track, Dwayne and I do track our expenses and, count them against all these grants in QuickBooks. So it wouldn't be too tough to, we can just pull up reports and share them. I think we have them set up on believe we could do it by project or grant by grant.
And maybe that's TMI, I don't know. It's just that it seems like we've got a budget, and then as a board, it seems like we're supposed to help you stay within that budget.
I think what you're looking for, and I think she has the information. She's just providing us with the summary of, hey, this is where we are money wise.
Yes.
And all that other, if you ever been to a Nevada County Fire Safe Council meeting and got one of their reports, they get this report and then they get about 15 or 20 other reports behind it showing where where everything's spent. And that's, as long as we have that information, as long as we have access to that information. I don't know if it's a format of a Google sheet or something where if somebody wanted to go in and see where the money's being spent. The key is that once you have this information, an auditor's got to be able to look at it and make heads or tails out of it.
Yeah, so, I want to jump in, if I could jump in real quick.
Sure.
So all in QuickBooks, everything's tracked by the projects. And we do have numerous profit and losses that Allison and I have made just reports in QuickBooks that pulls all the information. Doing a Google sheet or a Google Doc would be excessively time consuming because every transaction that we do in QuickBooks would have to be duplicated on a Google sheet. So every entry that's being made into QuickBooks would have to be duplicated. I don't know if that's very cost effective, especially considering it would probably be my time or Allison's to do that, but we do have reports. So any reports that anyone wants to see can be generated in one click of a button for them. I would love, and if you guys do want a Google Sheet or a Google Doc, don't get me wrong, I'm more than willing to do the work, but I think that you guys would be spending more money on me than needs to be because I'd be doubling up doing work that QuickBooks already does by itself.
I think I probably said that wrong. It doesn't need to be a Google Doc. It could simply be, those reports are shareable. We got a link if somebody wants to go in and see what those reports that you can pull off of QuickBooks are updated monthly. You just hit the report this project and they're dumped into a link where if anybody wanted to go see, okay, how has the Yuba Water YWA road assistance money been spent, they could go click on that project, pull up that report and look at it. versus each one of us calling up you or Allison and saying, hey, can I get this report? That report would just be something that was updated in the, just turned into a PDF and put in the, put on a link page where people could, anybody that wanted to or had the access to it could go review it if they felt so inclined.
Yeah, I'll have to check with QuickBooks and make sure that we can do something like that, because right now QuickBooks, what we pay for is 5 people to use it. I need to look and see if I can do like a monthly share where all the reports are emailed out to everyone on a monthly basis, but
And
actually having a.
Dwayna, I don't want to micromanage. All I want to know is from the board and you, or from Allison and you, that you guys are tracking that stuff, and on a regular basis you say we're on track with our budget, or we're overspending in this line item, or we have got all this excess money that we can move to hire another person. That's all I want, is to be able to hear that you guys are tracking it well and keeping us informed.
Yeah, and I am not, I don't want to hide anything. I'm not trying to hide anything. I just want to make sure that getting you guys the information is doable and not costing too much on the other end.
Well, it is doable because you and Allison are keeping track of it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all I want to know.
We have weekly meetings actually for us to keep track and touch base and make sure everything's accurate, and you know, that things are being billed to the correct project. And Steve and I did the same thing. We'd go over every transaction and make sure that we had it in the correct project. So yeah, we are tracking it, but I want you guys to know that I'm willing to share anything I can with you. I just don't know if I could make it so that everyone can click on it at any time to see what's going on.
I don't want that. I do not want to wake up at 3 a.m. and say, I wonder how the blah blah is doing, and going in and looking. If I get to that point, you need to ask me to leave the board.
Well, we could even, you know, we could even do something like.
Sean and Steve, you don't want to know that much information either, right?
No. What I'm thinking is, and I hear your point, Pamela. It might be just as simple as saying that first column that says total would be budget revenue available as of 1/1/2022, and then add one more column that could be added in monthly or even quarterly that just says current balance. And you wouldn't need to necessarily even make adjustments to all the subsequent columns to add the, you know, to add up to the new balance, just so we could look and say, okay, of that 100,000 March 31st or 30th, whatever's in March, I can't remember, there's 70,000 available. Just so there is.
That's exactly what I would like to see, and a quarterly basis would be fine.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
there's not that many revenue sources that an additional column couldn't be created and data put in.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So what I'm kind of hearing is maybe like quarterly. I could come. Come with a report, just kind of an update on how the budget's looking. If we need to like do some kind of amendment, that's the time to do it too. But yeah, just to kind of give you guys quarterly updates.
This budget.
Yeah.
Is that doable, Dwayna?
Well, Allison has put together the budget on her own, and so yeah, I'm sure if she says it's doable, it is. And you know, we can even set up a quarterly packet of reports too, if you guys wanted them, just so you know, you can buzz through it and just take a look, and you won't have it all the time, but at least quarterly, you know, you'll have a detail that you can see what's going on.
Yeah,
I would like that.
And I'll add in too, like I did this budget just on a spreadsheet, just because that was what was like making sense to my brain to do at the time. But we are looking into some kind of like better budgeting software that can integrate with QuickBooks, because QuickBooks budgeting section right now is like very minimal. It's not super useful for kind of the way our programs are broken out. So
would you be willing to ask another fire safe council what they use to track their budget and let us know at the next board meeting?
Sure.
Because we want to make it easy, but we also want to, you know, we do want to, Pam wants to make it easy.
Yeah.
Allison's gonna call me after the meeting and be like, what?
Not me. I want to make it really tough.
That's right.
But yeah,
Sean wants it just right.
Yeah, exactly.
See, it's a good thing you only have 3 board members to deal with today. This is where you're supposed to say, oh no, I would like all kinds of feedback and suggestions.
I'll say I did send
All
this
right,
to Creighton a couple weeks ago because he's the treasurer. So he looked over it. We talked on Monday and he said he had some suggestions for kind of, I think, kind of future other things we could show in the future on here too. But he said it looks good also. So
okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All righty.
So based on that, do we have a motion to approve the budget or do we need more information?
I think we can make, I think we've got the motions and we voted. Oh, on the budget. Yeah. I think we've got enough information now to approve the
Information that you'll
budget.
make a motion to approve?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the budget as presented with a notation that Allison will work on quarterly updates.
I second that motion.
All right, we got a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing none, the motion to approve it passes. So we have a 2022 Fire Safe Council budget. Moving on to next. Project coordinator hiring update.
awesome. So on this one, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the project coordinator position. I interviewed 2 people last week. They were both great candidates. I'm having a little bit of a hard time deciding, but told them we could get back to them probably next week. But just wanted to.
Do you want to do second interviews? Do you want us involved?
Well,
I
so
would be if
so
you
that
want.
was one question I want to ask you guys if you want to. How does the board want to be involved? If you need to, I think we've
However
talked-
you want.
Okay, because I think we've talked about before, like as far as hiring. From what I remember, that you guys don't need to approve hires except for the executive director position. So
That's
just wanted
correct.
to confirm that, and then
All right.
Okay.
Anything else, Allison?
that is all I've got for today, unless you guys have questions of me.
No, that's good. I was gonna just FYI, I was gonna reach out to you to volunteer to sit in on your interviews, particularly, but it turned out my wife had a procedure on Wednesday. So
Oh.
yeah, that day was not available to me and it didn't seem like I should be on one and not the other.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was like Wednesday and Thursday, so.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, yeah.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's good.
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Anything else?
Looks like that covers it. So I guess we shall adjourn the meeting at 12:35 PM.
Excellent.